Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. So the vote against Bernanke was significant, a substantial vote against Bernanke, and a couple of commentators freaking out that the Sanders and Bunning holds to stop the Bernanke nomination from going through might have influenced monetary policy. What? 2 elected senators influencing an unelected, unappointed, unaccountable Bernanke there at the Fed? That's an outrage in the opinion of many commentators on CNBC. Now, let's shift gears and let's get into the area of international economics. Big international moves against the International Monetary Fund and against, in particular, the City of London and its Dutch satellites, the Anglo-Dutch banking cabal with significant, indeed preponderant influence over the International Monetary Fund. And let's not forget our friends over at the European Commission, where the tinged with fascism Barroso has just started another regime with chosen commissioners. So for this, we go to Reykjavik, Iceland, and our correspondent in the midst of the campaign, the referendum campaign, should Iceland sign itself into national suicide by attempting to pay $6 billion or thereabouts to the British and the Dutch as demanded by the IMF and the European Commission. So here is now Thorarinn Einarsson in the heart of Reykjavik.
Yes, hello.
Can you hear me, Thorarinn?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. So we know then that the referendum there is in March 6th. So what's going on? What does it look like on the streets there in Reykjavik? Any big rallies or other developments to keep us up to date with?
Yeah, and I can say there are still big rallies, and there is. It's possible that it will be postponed because of there is a report due about the financial crash that Icelanders have been waiting for long over a year, and it's not finished. And of course, it should be published before the referendum. So that's also debated if the referendum should be postponed.
Whose report is that? What report?
It's about the financial crash. There was a parliamentary committee that over a year ago they started to work on this report. So this is a report that would say pretty much, who is the guilty parties. And so there are a lot of expectations.
So it's a report. It's a report from the political parties represented in the Icelandic Parliament.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Well, it's an investigative committee.
And what's the argument about delaying the vote in order to get this?
It's nothing special, actually. It's just it's thinking people will be more informed to take a better decision in the referendum, having this report published.
Now, just when you say this report, I want to just remind our listeners, some of them may have heard of Eva Joly, who is, of course, this very distinguished Norwegian-French investigating judge, right? And she's been brought in to do what amounts to a criminal investigation, or at least an investigation that may have criminal consequences with real indictments. I take it that is not the report that we're dealing with.
No, I mean she is an advisor to a special prosecutor, so that's something different. But of course, it's related, and Eva Joly has been doing a very good job here.
Okay. Now, in terms of the arguments flying back and forth, maybe you could give us a sampling. Have there been any, unusually interesting editorials or op-eds, right, opinion editorials in the papers for and against this kind of paying, right? And I also wonder, now that Greece seems to be on the verge of bankruptcy, and the euro is going down like a rock, and even the dollar, which is a very sickly currency, seems to be getting at least a new lease on life temporarily. Are there people who are saying that, the IMF system just doesn't work, and look at these examples in other countries, or maybe Haiti? Has anybody brought that up?
Yeah, I think, yes. I think people are getting more aware, and it's getting more obvious, the real role of the IMF. And, of course, Icelanders are starting to figure that out. And also a little bit more, after Haiti, when Haiti was in the news and their debts, and we see also the bloody history of IMF everywhere popping up. So it's only helping people to realize the real nature of these kind of institutions.
Now, I know you were looking to try to do an interview with an IMF official. Have we got?
No, I didn't. He promised several times that he would talk to us, and then he kind of disappeared. And he has given interviews, but not real, information. He is just, a spokesman that, gives dry, formal answers. So he cannot give anything of value.
But I'm wondering if the International Monetary Fund has sent any officials there to try to interfere, right? To try to come to Iceland and give press conferences or talk to groups, give lectures, saying, in the world of globalization, you've got to pay, and debt is sacrosanct, and your national interests mean nothing. Anything like that, or from the European
Commission? Very
Commission?
limited. It's more like just letters, occasional press conferences, but nothing big and nothing important. I would like to mention one thing that the finance minister just had a meeting now with the Minister of Finance in Netherlands, and the Netherlands, the government is saying that Iceland has to pay. They have to pay in full the loan in question. So that's a very strong demand.
The Dutch repeat their demand of blackmail and extortion that Iceland has to pay to the last Icelander, and Iceland be damned, and debt is sacrosanct. And
he's saying that we have to pay in full the amount, but what is negotiable is maybe the interest and the time.
That's big of them. And we have to remind our listeners there is absolutely no legal basis for this. In other words, there's no signed contract. It's not even like an IMF loan where they make you sign at gunpoint. Iceland never signed for this, right? These were bank branches that were put into Holland and Britain, and the Dutch and the British knew better than anyone else that these were unsound, fly-by-night, unreliable, that would banks that might blow up in the first gust of wind, but they nevertheless welcomed them in the name of globalization and deregulation and the free flow of capital and financial flim-flam across borders, right?
Yeah. Of course we really need to get this information out, and what we are doing now, the No Group, we are preparing to put up a website, should be ready in a few days, and we are going to have the all-important documents and also try to make short, clear presentations of the arguments against the bill. And but still, it can be also hard. I can practice on my father. I haven't still be able to convince my father.
Okay. So our time is up. We'll see you next week, and long live the rejection front there, the No Group in Iceland, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Okay.